Today on CityCast Pittsburgh.
Why do you think he removes their skins, Agent Starling? Thrill me with your acumen.
It excites him. Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
I didn't.
No, you ate yours.
A lot of people don't know, but one of the most iconic thrillers of all time, Silence of the Lambs, was filmed in and around Pittsburgh, even the home of its legendary villain, Buffalo Bill. To get an early start on the Halloween season, we're bringing back one of our favorite episodes, when CityCast's Morgan Moody and I drove an hour south to check out Buffalo Bill's house. It's Wednesday, September 20th. I'm Mallory Falk, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about.
Okay, so we are in Perryopolis. It's very quiet. You can hear crickets, and the Youghiogheny River is flowing right across from the house. It's very idyllic and very peaceful for the set of a serial killer's home.
My name's Chris Rowan, and I'm the owner of the Buffalo Bill House here in Perryopolis, Pennsylvania, located at 8 Circle Street. And Buffalo Bill's house is the real home where the climactic finale of The Silence of the Lambs was filmed.
So you're putting the address out there. Mm-hmm. So obviously, this is a place where people can come. It's not a private residence.
Right. That's correct. It's Buffalo Bill's house is not a private residence. It is structurally a rental. We call it a boutique accommodation and a cinematic destination. And we are open for overnight stays, guided tours, on-location filming and photo shoots, and we also host special events. I make a living as an art director and a prop stylist in the film and TV industry. So my personal interest in horror movies, which has been pretty much lifelong, kind of led me to get Bill's going.
Did they ever say how Bill got this house in the movie? Because this is a really nice house.
Oh,
and, he was essentially a
deranged serial killer?
A deranged serial killer making,
flesh suits
in his basement.
Yes, yes.
How could he afford this?
He was basically squatting, essentially. Bill was a bit of a squatter after he had some dastardly deeds done to the woman who lived here. He kind of took over the home.
Yeah.
So, the interesting part about Bill's is that it's really just extremely tranquil, given the fact that the home focuses on a serial killer.
Should we check out the house?
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you guys come on in and we'll talk a little bit about that.
In we go.
So here in the grand foyer, this is the first interior sequence that was shot. And actually, right at that second stairwell, that's where the camera was placed. It's looking down diagonally. You see Bill open the door and Jody walk in, and she's interrogating him about the murders. And
Chris, there's someone behind you.
Oh, there sure is.
Yeah. Closer, please. Closer. A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
This is doing more for me than you even know.
Yeah.
Although it's like broad daylight and I'm ready to bail.
You're already scared. We're at the foyer and Mallory's terrified.
Well, then I've done my job successfully well. That's our life-size Hannibal Lecter animatronic. Hannibal is wearing his jumpsuit and his straitjacket. And he's able to basically deliver about a dozen lines from the movie. And he's wearing the famous cannibal mask from the movie. That keeps people safe when they're around Hannibal, and it drops down and opens up as he delivers the lines. And of course, the eyes move. It's a very limited run of pieces. There was only 800 made worldwide. And when I got this guy, he was very hard to find. He was actually broken and in need of repair. So I had to source an animatronic, basically mechanic, a gentleman out of Chicago, and I had him shipped there and fully renovated and repaired. So when you step on him,
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.
And you said this is life size. Sir Anthony Hopkins is shorter than I would have
Life-ish
imagined.
size,
Life-ish, okay.
Yeah, I would say within about 5 to 6 inches, The fun part about Hannibal is I do keep him in manual mode when I'm doing tours, but actually he does have a motion sensor, so when guests come through and they're bringing in their suitcases for the weekend, as soon as you get within about 3-4 feet of him, he comes to life on his own and generally scares the crap out of whoever's coming in. So it kind of sets the tone for the weekend, which is a lot of fun. The interesting part about the kitchen is that it is the room that least looks like what it did on screen, and that's because they demolished almost the entire kitchen when they came in to make it look considerably older than it was, even for, it was modern for the time. It was an 80s style kitchen. They wanted it to be something more out of the 1940s or 50s, so they pretty much demoed the whole kitchen and made it look even more unkempt and more retro.
And when people don't know that people, film production companies can do that. They do a lot of construction on houses to make it look like, what they need it to look like. Was this home owned by somebody privately prior to that, like when they did all that demolition?
Yeah, so a family did live here, and the family that was here for the filming of Silence, they had a small son, but that family was here for almost 50 years. They moved in the late 1960s and stayed up until a few years back. They got a knock on the door from Jonathan Demme, the director of Silence, who was scouting with the location scout in the area, looking for filming locations, and he fell in love with the house and ultimately chose to make it Bill's. A deal was brokered, and contract was signed, and they were here shooting. I do know that the family did lose basically access to the first floor of their house, as all the shooting was done on the first floor in the basement. So while shooting was taking place, they were pretty much relegated to stay in the living quarters on the second and third floor.
A small sacrifice for 5 Oscars.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd be willing to make the same one personally. You guys ready to see the basement?
Yes. Of course.
Let's do it.
The crown jewel of the home.
So we're in the basement at Buffalo Bill's house, and this is what we call the Buffalo Bill's Workshop of Horrors. And I recreated the famous scene that was shot here. It's where Bill does his famous dance sequence that I'm sure everyone is familiar with. Normally, we have the song that Bill dances to playing. It does play automatically when you enter. It's Goodbye Horses by the singer Q Lazarus.
Yeah, sadly, CityCast does not have the rights to play the song throughout this tour, but we're hearing it in our minds.
Absolutely. The Buffalo Bill Workshop is basically inspired by all the scenes that were shot on film. So if you'll notice, you'll look over here, you'll see the vintage Singer sewing machine. You'll see the operational disco ball, just like Bill had up. He also had a very large American flag on his backdrop, along with dress forms and sewing mannequins as well. They are wearing authentic costume and wardrobe from the 80s. We have, of course, Bill's kimono, feathered boa, and wig as well. This is one of the, needless to say, one of the high points for a lot of guests to come down here and actually recreate the famous dance sequence. We like to say, come down to Buffalo Bill's house and get your tuck on. So that's kind of our one of our slogans for obvious reasons. I'll let your listeners figure it out. But you can put on the kimono and the boa and the wig, take pictures at the seated Singer sewing machine. So building this took quite a while. Fleshing it out, just a little bit of pun intended, was certainly a labor of love. And, I wanted it to be as fun and as immersive as possible.
That's really cool that you set this up, that people could reenact these sorts of things.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about all morning.
Thank you.
What scenes could we reenact?
Recreating is a huge part of Bill's, and being able to actually be in the spot where these iconic scenes took place. It's a favorite amongst our guests. And the idea behind it is really that, in a format where, you come and stay overnight in a private format, you have the time to do whatever you really want to do, which is nice, and without the pressure of a time scenario.
The Pittsburgh Citywide Task Force on Employee Ownership was created to help businesses in the Pittsburgh region thrive and grow by bringing the message of employee ownership and its benefits to 30,000 businesses in the area. The task force was formed in conjunction with the Pennsylvania Center for Employee Ownership, the Pittsburgh City Council, Heinz Endowments, Chatham University, and the University of Pittsburgh. Employee ownership is a business model and form of succession planning that benefits owners, workers, companies, and communities alike. Interested in learning more? The task force will be holding in-person informational sessions around the Pittsburgh region. To learn more about the task force or to sign up for an informational session, please visit pghbusiness.org. That's pghbusiness.org. I don't know about you, but I am utterly devoted to a few of my favorite wardrobe staples. That said, I do not have the skills to adjust them if I shift sizes, get a tear, or just want to reimagine a classic. Old Flame Mending, however, definitely does. They're a sewing service here in Pittsburgh that helps you get the most out of your clothes and keep them out of the landfill through repairs, tailoring, alterations, and even custom work. You can check them out in person in Avalon, just off Ohio River Boulevard, and look at some beautiful work samples on their Instagram, at Old Flame Mending. Local pickup, delivery, and mail-in options are available, so book an appointment and find more information at oldflamemending.com. They'll fix anything but a broken heart.
All right, you guys want to go see the well?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
The moment we've been waiting for.
We moisturized for this moment.
So this is the famous interactive well. It's our brand new release for the Halloween season. And the well has been an idea since the moment I came to see this house and took the tour way back in October of 2020. This was the coal cellar of the house. So before modern heating, of course, the house was fed with coal to heat it. And the minute I walked in here, I knew that I was going to build the well. So very appreciative that after a year, it finally happened. And it was built in partnership with Tom Savini. Tom Savini is a legendary horror genre special effects makeup artist, director and actor and producer. He is also a Pittsburgh resident and runs the Tom Savini special effects makeup program at the Douglas Education Center in Manassan, PA, which is about 20 minutes away. And after partnering with Tom, he and his team built the well.
This is the best place I've ever been. Yeah.
So I'll let you guys see this first, experience the sounds, and we could talk a little bit.
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told.
Mister, my family will pay cash. Whatever ransom you're asking for, they'll pay it.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, you will, precious. You will get the hose.
Truly, the attention to detail to the entire house is amazing. You have like little scratch marks inside, bloody scratch marks inside the well.
And the fingernails, if you look really closely. Right there, those are at the top point. Those are fingernails, just like the movie had. And then, of course, we have the basket raises and lowers on this retractable pulley system, just like the movie.
Basket of lotion.
Yep, that's our signature body lotion, which we sell. That's our...
That's actual Buffalo Bill lotion.
Yeah, check it out. Buffalo Bill's house. We call it the Skin Suit Soft Body Lotion. It's a shea butter body lotion.
Ooh, shea butter. I'm going to smell it.
Yeah.
It smells good.
It's oatmeal milk and honey. Yep. So that's pretty cool. We keep that down there for the photo ops, and just the retractable pulley can raise and lower. Of course, we have Precious here for some more fun photo ops. We have the bucket that Catherine Martin utilized, and how does she lure Precious? With chicken bones on a string, right? So there it is. So, and you can actually get into it. You can get into the well, which guests have been doing is also. We have Catherine Martin's outfit for doing cosplay. She's wearing basically long johns, like a jumpsuit, and 80s kind of style ashy blonde wig, just like the actress Brooke Smith wore. And in the corner, you'll see the hose, of course, for further enhancing your photo ops. So almost took two years to bring it to fruition. But now that it's here, where it should be, I think it takes the whole Buffalo Bill experience to the highest level. And it is the number one question I get when I go to movie conventions and trade shows and stuff, and talking about the house. Everyone wants to know about the well, so I knew the fans wanted it, and I was happy to have it built and give it to them. Some of the other stuff that's important about Bill's is you walk around, you're going to notice a lot of artwork everywhere positioned in all the rooms. And almost, I would say, 85 to 90% of this stuff was all donated to the house by artists around the world. As an art director and prop stylist myself, I have a affinity for really high quality art pieces, and you will find a lot of custom Silence of the Lambs art everywhere. The wall space and how the home is the decor of the home, I did want to treat it in the vein of like a gallery, a place where you could go and see, dark, inspired art from Silence of the Lambs. So it's the idea has always been that to keep it a hybrid. I never wanted it to be an over-the-top, quote, haunted attraction in that regard. I love those. They're a ton of fun, but I feel there's so many of them out there. I wanted this to kind of be a unique blend of keeping a beautiful period Victorian home traditional in its aesthetic, but then go ahead and kind of pepper in and pay respects to all the film's history that was shot here.
Is this the same, decoration and furniture from the original film as well?
No, so when I bought the home, great question. The home was completely barren when I bought it. All the furniture was sourced by me. It took almost a year to do that, one piece at a time, sourcing a lot of estate sales and things like that. Obviously, in a vintage Victorian home, you can't exactly go to IKEA and get it furnished.
That's really your area of expertise, being in art and production design.
Absolutely, and that definitely paid dividends, having those type of contacts and knowing how to hunt down avant-garde older stuff definitely helped get Bill's going in the decor capacity. The light fixtures are original. Those have been here. I did not choose those, which are great. If you look really closely in the film, you will see every lighting fixture that you see is the exact same one in the movie. They've not been changed. So those are definitely identifiable, but the furniture certainly has changed. And of course, Bill was a deranged serial killer, so the home was considerably disheveled and in a state of disarray, given his what he was really up to in the basement of the house.
There's a lot of attention to detail in this house. We covered that on the tour. And you talked about buying it in 2020. How did that sale come about? How did you find, this is probably one of your favorite movies.
So finding out that Bill's was for sale back in October of 2020, I read an article literally online. We were actually still relatively deep in the pandemic. It was still what would be considered lockdown time. Very little was going on in the world. And out of me not being able to work in New York and in the filming industry, I read this article that Bill's was for sale and looked upon it and said, "Oh wow, look at that! How cool is this?" Well, looking up where it is, oh, it's in the Pittsburgh region. Okay, cool. And it wasn't instantaneous, but within about 2 hours, that the proverbial light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, wow, that would really be something, and, with my background in film and my interest in horror and love of all things spooky, I wanted to go see it. So, but the renovation side, after seeing the home was structurally in really great shape. I mean, there's certainly things that needed to be done. It's a 100-year-old house, but, they took, 9-10 months of pretty much, round the clock work. All of it was done by myself and some close friends who I work with in the film industry, who donated their time, which I'm very appreciative of, because, the only professional vendors I bought in were things outside my scope of ability, like electric and things like that. But it was really a labor of love. I was not willing to stop until it looked the way I envisioned it looking.
And you're not from the Pittsburgh area. You live out in New Jersey.
I do. I live about 25, 30 miles out of New York City. How's
it been to physically have to be here, with all the work? How has that been for you?
Definitely, sometimes exhausting, for sure. I mean, it is a drive. It's a couple 100 miles to get out here. And I'm always coming with things. So I don't have the luxury of flying, even though I could. I mean, I'm bringing equipment or props or tools or this or that, and it's not conducive to a flying format. When I'd get film work, I'd go home and do the film work, and if I had a break in filming and didn't have a project, then I'd come out here and work for a few weeks, and did that for almost a year until it was ready, and then we finally opened Labor Day 2021.
Chris, you've thought of everything.
Tried my damnedest, just at the end of the day, I'm just a big movie fan, and I'm happy to now be kind of the proprietor of a well-known film location and one of my personal favorite movies. Bill's House is meant for everybody. There's no walk of life or demographic that we can't cater to, and I'm really happy that how it's been going, and have certainly lots of plans down the road for some other big surprises.
Chris Rowan is an art director and prop stylist in films, and the owner and curator of Buffalo Bill's House. Thank you so much for your time today, Chris.
Thanks for having, I would say thanks for having me, but I guess I had you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's great to be on your show, and I certainly look forward to chatting with you ladies again, and hope you guys come for a tour and overnight stay, or else you'll get the hose again.
That was good.
And if you can't get enough Silence of the Lambs, you're in luck. This weekend, the actress who played Catherine Martin, the woman trapped in that basement well, is making a special appearance at Buffalo Bill's house for the first time in 30 years. Friday through Sunday, you can meet Brooke Smith and take a guided tour. Sign up at buffalobillshouse.com, where you can also go to book tours through the end of October and overnight stays all year round. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the pod, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then.
So not retiring to sew skin suits in the basement.
If I retire and make flesh suits, they'll be the special effects ilk.
Vegan friendly.
Absolutely. Silicone all the way. We're going to leave the real flesh at home for sure.